Welcome back, everybody, to DarkDeathRiderTv. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you guys are doing well. I am making this video because I got challenged at the end of last video from the Nerd Life. You guys go ahead, check him out. I'll post him over here if I can. Check him out. He does a lot of, retro pickups. He plays retro games on his CRT, which is amazing. He plays Super Nintendo games and N64 games, things like that, which is really cool. He also does a lot of figure unboxings. So he just recently picked up a couple of Transformers and some Ninja Turtle figures, which were really cool. So guys, go check out the Nerd Life. Amazing guy. He issued me this challenge, which are 10 questions, which I wrote down, and I'm going to try to answer them to the best of my ability so you guys can get to know me a lot better. And I don't know if I'm going to pass the challenge on or not, but I'm just going to do the challenge so you guys get to know me a little bit better. Who is Dark Death Rider, right? All right, so first question is, what kind of games do you like to play? Well, I play all kinds of games. I play platformers, shooters, RPGs, racing games, sports games. I play them all. But yeah, it's, I'm a gamer. I was born in the 80s. I've been playing games for a very long time. So video games are my everything. So that simple, straight to the point. That's what I like. All right, question number 2. How much time do you spend playing video games? Well, so you guys can get to know me. I'm a married man with 4 children. I work, and it's very hard to, separate some time for gaming, for family, and all that stuff with the responsibilities. But then again, I try on occasion to play games, at least once a week if I can, if not more. I play my retro games. I love, I'm collecting my retro games. I play my retro games when I can. I have my pinball machine. I have an arcade on the back over here that you guys, it's out of focus, but you guys can see it. Like I said, I love playing video games. I'm sitting right in front of my PC. I play a lot of PC games as well. But time-wise, I would say if I can get an hour of gameplay, twice a week, would be amazing for me to play. But other than that, I play a lot less now than I did when I was younger. Obviously, when I'm younger, I have nothing but school and free time. Now, married man, happy, children, happily married, all that stuff. So you tend to prioritize your stuff a lot better. But yes, I do play about an hour or so every couple of days or so, so plus I watch YouTube videos and things like that. So yeah, definitely. So question number 3. Do you think that games can be educational? Do I think games can be educational? Absolutely. Video games basically saved my life when it came down to it. I grew up in a very poor household. We didn't have much. It was me, my 2 older brothers, and my sister. So we didn't have much, but what we did have was my mother was the type of woman that always wanted to make us happy. So me getting our first system, which was a 2600 Tower 2600, it was life changing for us. We played that. We unwinded. We had a good time. Got to understand what a joystick was and all that kind of stuff. And it was different in those days. But yes, I think it's educational because everything that you do in a game, whether it's Nintendo, Super Nintendo, whatever, even modern games, you have to succeed in that. You have to try and try. And you learn everything from, learning different languages to understanding different people, especially in modern games like MMORPGs. You're not just playing this by yourself. You're playing with other people around the world. So you're communicating, you're making friends, you're gaining knowledge. Even though it's a video game, you're gaining knowledge of other things. Games like Risk and strategy-based games and all that kind of stuff. You learn about, God of War. You learn about, Greek mythology. You learn, all these kind of things are educational. Anything you put your mind to you should try to learn something from everything you do in every day, not just video games. So are video games educational? Absolutely. You can learn countless things from video games. And I understand a lot more in life and a lot more on day-to-day things because I focus and I hone in my skills on what I'm playing and how, how to get good and how to pass a stage, or how to, the dialogue in certain games are so, so much detail. You learn certain words, and, your brain can't fathom a lot of the things that you can do. But yes, educational all the way. It also depends on the individual. So if you're very open-minded, and you're very, if you can distinguish between reality and fantasy, there's no harm in putting a little of both in your life. So anything that will better your life in the long run is teaching you something. So that's what I believe. Question 4. What do you like about video games? Like I said before, video games saved my life in a sense of growing up. Like when we got our Nintendo NES system, it was life altering when I saw how something so simple like Mario or Castlevania or a Punch Out could just, a couple of pixels can make you leave where you are, even if it's an emotional time or even if it's a sad time. You can go into these games and you can live a different life. You can be, Little Mac, that famous boxer. You could be an adventurer going into caves and finding stuff. You could basically escape reality in a sense to make it feel a little bit easier, depending on, regardless of what you're going through. So I've always found that video games have always been a part of me, and it's a beautiful thing. And I assume, the rest of the community, people don't just love games because they love them. They always have some type of story to those games, which is amazing. And like I said, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be the person I am without video games. So yeah, thank you, video games. That's awesome. All right, question number 5. How much do you spend on video games? It varies with me, so it really depends. So you guys know I sign up for VGM, Video Games Monthly, and I pay my monthly subscription. So aside from that, maybe once a month or twice a month, I'll try to go to my local retro stores. Shout out to Orbit DVD, which is amazing, and the Nerd Dungeon, great places. They have, they're very knowledgeable, and they have a lot of care and love into their stores. And I've always been the kind of person that I always love giving to my community. And don't get me wrong, I love buying things on Facebook Market, or I love, buying things on eBay or Amazon, things like that. But, buying locally and trying to support your local stores, I've always been, big on that. So anything that I can do towards my community or towards my fellow gamers, as I say, I'll do. That being said, I'll try to waste maybe $30-$40 every time I go into the stores, buy little things in there. Like I said, my collection is very small, so I kind of get picky, and I pick and choose certain things that I want and I buy. And I have to make a video, which I will eventually, on certain pickups that I've done and things like that. So yeah, that's basically it. So I would say maybe, $30-$40 every month or so. And I'm not even counting VGM, because that's something that every month I pay for. But I don't go crazy on that stuff. But if I do find something that I'm very interested in, or I see something that I've had, as a child, and I want, and I will spend the money to get it. Nothing crazy, no $600-$700. I can't afford that kind of stuff. But I will pick up a game, $40 game or $50 game, if I see that it's like, that it's there, it's in good condition, and I would like it to my, for my collection. And ideally, I'm building my collection so that I can show my children what I played growing up and how it was back then, when so that they can appreciate it a lot more. Because in this day and age, everything is computer games. Everything, it's a big difference when we were children playing, after homework or whatever, before school, that kind of stuff, or Saturday mornings. Like they didn't live that stuff. They didn't do that whole Saturday morning cartoon things with us. So they didn't do that. So I want to have them get a little bit of nostalgia. So when I'm gone, they have something to look back on me fondly through those retro games, through the things that I love, So yeah, that's what I get out of that. So yeah. All right. Where are we? Question 6. What is your favorite console? Right? Yeah, okay. What is my favorite console? That's a real tough one because I love Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Sega Genesis. I love almost every console, but I think the one I'm most nostalgic with would be the Nintendo, the NES. Like I said, I remember getting the Nintendo. I remember getting Duck Hunt and Mario and Castlevania and Metroid and all these games. And I remember immersing myself into these games deeply and fondly and getting to know the characters and understanding the worlds and how everything, it intrigued me a lot, so I was really into that. The controllers felt comfortable in my hand. The cartridges, I thought it was a innovative idea to have a video game cartridge slide into a slot and close it out, because at that time, video games were kind of shunned. They really couldn't sell video games like that. So yeah, so I would say the Nintendo Entertainment System would be my most nostalgic. Then of course Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, and so on. But yeah, NES is one that's very close to my heart. So all right, what is it? Question 7. What is your favorite game? So my favorite game, I'm assuming, I would say my favorite game of all time. I'm assuming, because there's a lot of favorite games that I have, but I would have to say my favorite game of all time would be Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night was a game that they haven't replicated it since. I know there's been some phenomenal games, but Symphony of the Night is literally up there. I've purchased it. I own the original. I've purchased it on the Xbox 360. I've purchased it on the PS4. I've purchased it about 6 or 7 times. Every time they have a new iteration of it, I purchase it because I love it. It's an amazing game. If you guys haven't played Symphony of the Night, please, please, please check it out. It's one of the best Konami games that I could. Symphony of the Night, bar none, the best, in my opinion. Like I said. Okay. Favorite game. Question, what was that? 7? Yeah, okay, so 8. What is your favorite video game movie? All right. Video game movie. There really hasn't been much movies out there based on video games and stuff, but if I had to say movie-wise that I can think of towards a video game, even though it could be a comic as well in that sense, but I would say the first 2 Ninja Turtle movies were life-altering when I saw them in theaters. They literally, to have those turtles that were in my Saturday morning cartoons come to life and see them was something unreal to me. Like I said, the first 2 movies were amazing. Secret of the Ooze and the first one were amazing. Third one, not so much. not so much. It was still cool to see them in samurai suits and stuff, but Ninja Turtles will always be the first 2 movies, and I loved it. Of course, the animated series and stuff were great. Other than those Ninja Turtle movies, I would probably say, like my friend at the Nerd Life, I would agree with him with Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was one of those movies that I saw in the theater, and when you first heard that that was just iconic. It was great. But yeah, phenomenal movie as well. But I would have to go with Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 for video game adaptations of movies. Let's see. Question 9. What is my favorite video game character? That's a good question, because when it comes down to it, we have, who doesn't love Mario? Who doesn't love Link? Samus, those kind of things, so we have Street Fighter, we have Ken, we have Ryu, a lot of Chun-Li, amazing characters. I'm also a huge fan of Capcom and Mega Man and all that kind of stuff, so it's very hard, but I don't know, it's weird. I would have to say, if you guys would allow me to, I'm going to say 2. When it comes down to it, I would say my all-time favorite character would be Ken from Street Fighter. I love Ken. I loved every iteration that I've played with him of Ken, which is awesome. And then also I would have to say, which is kind of weird, but you guys, you want to get to know me, that's how I am. I would say Zero from Mega Man X is another iconic favorite character of mine. I love his demeanor. I love his attitude. I love his saber. I love his hair. I love his outfit. It's really cool. It's kind of ironic how they're both red characters with blonde hair, which is which is really funny. But yes, I would have to say Ken Masters and Zero from Mega Man X. Okay, and the final question. What is your least favorite type of game to play? My least favorite type of game, like I said, I've played, and like I said, those are the 10 questions, but I've played a lot of games in my life, and I played a lot of different games, and I pride myself on hearing certain noises or certain sounds in games, and I'm like, oh, that's Contra, or oh, that's, Mega Man, or whatever. I would say least favorite type of game to play would probably be within probably sports games and racing games. I play them, but I'm not that very good at them. And I'm the kind of person that when something gets very repetitive, like Madden 1, Madden 2, that kind of stuff is like, it doesn't really change. So I don't see the appeal in it, even though some of those games look phenomenal and they run great. Like Blitz. Blitz is one of my favorite football games I love, and Blades of Steel for NES is a hockey amazing game. I play those games, but if I had to choose, the least favorite type would probably be sports and racing. I love racing games like Forza and stuff like that, Gran Turismo, but I never really got like super hyped into those racing games. Not like my wife. My wife loves racing games and she loves platformers and stuff like that. Me too. I love platformers too. But I would say sports and racing games would be my least likely. So I'm sorry that I was rambling. I appreciate you guys stopping by and having these 10 questions for me. Thank you, The Nerd Life. I'll put them once again here so you guys can see it. Go check them out, guys. I appreciate the challenge. Hopefully my questions and answers were good enough for you guys. As always, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment on any of the questions that I did. What did you guys think about what I answered? What did you guys like or didn't like? That's fine. I'm okay with it. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you guys so much for everything. I'll check you guys out on the next video. Keep safe. Play games. Bye.